Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. Happy New Year. We can't wait to talk about all the stuff that got us excited last year, what we're looking forward to for this year. We got a lot of stuff in the news, all different collectibles that we're going to go over. Very excited to chat about all that and more.
Collecting is the way. Now let's chat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Collector Chatter. This is episode 148. I am Migs with Charlie. Happy New Year, everyone. It's
Yes.
2026. What's going on, Charlie? We took our holiday break. How about
We took
that?
our holiday break.
That's what that
We
was.
knew no one would be listening. So we're back better than ever. We're pumped. We got a nice, holiday times with the family. But the collecting world never sleeps. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. As Meg said in the intro, like we're just gonna give a recap, just kind of quickly of like things that, excited us last year and what we were collecting and what we're looking forward to in the new year. But I mean there's a lot of stuff, a lot of companies we still love. We even before this started, I mean, me and you were actually trying to buy some Funko Pops, which is kind of crazy because especially for Migs, I mean, like it's been a few years.
Yeah, at this point it's been wild, but yeah, it was a interesting year in collecting for us. I know a lot of changes happened personally for myself. Like, Charlie kind of hints towards a lot of kind of didn't collect as much for
Yeah.
2025. There was a lot of cool stuff, some things we're going to talk about, companies that started up and new things that we got interested in. The Funkos of the world still existed, of course, but it just wasn't like past years for me for just going crazy and collecting everything. I had to really hold myself back. But yeah, there's some pops out there and some things that, have gotten both of us actually really excited and kind of, wanting to grab some stuff here and there, but I've still kind of been a little bit a little less on just pulling the trigger. But we'll kind of go over, why don't we just go over, let's say, last
Yeah.
year as a whole, a couple things that were big in the collecting world. If you guys obviously are new here, and obviously for all of you guys that have been with us for a while now, you guys already know. Thank you guys for supporting us. But we like to talk about certain companies that we enjoy besides just Funko, because obviously Funko's like the big one. And I will say, let's start off with one of the companies that actually started off last year. I believe it was March of 2025 when they got really going and official. And that was, of course, the company known as Rokimoto, which was
Yes.
really cool, exciting. And it was something that was like building up from the year before. And like, this is going to be coming out. Mike Becker's attached to this, and what's it going to be? And then we finally got it officially, a launch for them. And yeah, kind of the rest has been history. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts with that? Because I know that's been something that we both have enjoyed throughout the year,
Yeah.
and to kind of
I
see where they
mean,
are now.
it's cool to look back because I think they're the company for me for last year that really exceeded expectations. I know in the beginning we were excited because it was a company that Mike was doing, but we really kind of like went all in on them in terms of reigniting a little bit of a spark of our collecting um habits because we got a little sour on Funko and they were obviously for me, it was an unexpected surprise of what they ended up being with those cups of fun, and they really lived up to their name, or their slogan of, having fun and whatnot, and I just keep excited for what they have to come for the new year, and I think they totally crushed it, and they would be my uh, between them and another company we're gonna talk about, but I would say they were, like, my winners of 2025 for me personally that I just super, super enjoyed.
hmm Yeah, I agree. It was something refreshing. It was new. It was fresh. It was a little different. obviously, when we first heard about them, and then we saw like they're going to be doing these ramen cups, and we're like, that's kind of weird. And then we're like, oh, actually, it's kind of cool. And it was a variety of things, and whether it was their original characters that they came out with, and then we started seeing IPs now rolling around, and they've been doing it. But one good thing about them, I mean, I want to say a few things, but let's say like the top two things for me was they really did bring the whole like fun aspect to
Yes,
collecting in general. Their social media was phenomenal. They do really great work there. They make a great job hyping things up. They do giveaways. They do different ways to kind of interact with their community and like all of us that are fans of theirs. And then the second thing is that they didn't overdo it this year though. So it was like slow and steady. They would come out with a couple cups here
yes,
and there. Wasn't too overwhelming. It almost was like a little pulled back a few times. Still to this day, there's a lot of stuff that we haven't really seen like
it's
out
hard to
in
get.
in the
Yeah,
streets, and it's been a little tough in that aspect. Not as accessible as I thought it would be, but it still brings like an excitement to if you do find something and grabbing something, and it's an easy good price point to just grab a few if you want or whatever, and not have to freak out that you got some. But yeah, I think those are like the big things for me, was just kind of how their year went and the excitement, the fun that they were kind of bringing to this original idea. Well, original for us because we weren't really collecting stuff like that.
totally. And one good thing to add about the availability, it's funny talking about going into the new year. I randomly got an email from Hot Top basically be like, you have a $5 reward like for an anniversary of yours. And I was like, okay, let me go see if there's anything I want. And I just happened to like first I typed in Thrilljoy because I know Thrilljoy's there. And then I typed in Rokimoto and I was like, whoa, they could pre-order the Sesame Street from them. You could
Oh,
pre-order um they had Godzilla. They had that Mochi no, what are those?
Mochichi.
Yeah, and they had those to pre-order. So I'm like, whoa. People are complaining that they couldn't find these things. As we've said, if you didn't have a Miniso, but now like they're gonna be able to order online at Hot Topic. Like, I think it's gonna be a big year for Akimoto because of that and that
That's
alone.
big.
So
Yeah, that should help definitely get them out there. And I think that's kind of what they need, just a little bit more accessible. Because like you said, the Miniso stuff, that's not everywhere. If you're in a big major
yeah.
city, maybe you have one or two, whatever it is, but it wasn't the easiest thing. And then obviously they did start pulling up their website as well, and they
But
dropped
still only the
some
Snoopies, which is
stuff, but
interesting.
that was the only ones, that and the Rocky Chan Godzilla. But hopefully it's kind of gets going in 2026. They really do push the online and getting into more retailers and stuff, because that'll make it a lot more accessible for everybody to kind of get their hands on. These are great products, and we
They're
like
awesome.
how they make them. We like the price point, like I said, and IPs and the original characters that they have been fun to collect. So, which I know is what they want to do. They're fun makers. So
Exactly.
great
Then
apparel as well. So yeah.
everything about them's awesome. But then another company that they ended 2024 with a bang, and we're going into 2025. We thought we're going to be guns a blazing, and that's Thrilljoy. But little did we know that they would completely rehaul that entire company. Like, it's crazy thinking about this a year ago. And what
I
we
know.
knew them as, I mean, if you listen to us, you guys all know this, but like, it's crazy to see that they're basically now a blind box company with their picks. And it's just kind of wild to me because Thrilljoy is still just, I have a love-hate relationship for them, and I don't know why, but like it's still just some of their products excite me, some don't. I know we had said this kind of in the last episode, but like I feel like I've only really been collecting blue. Like I was super excited for the Christmas ones, but even like the New Year's Eve one came out and like I didn't get it. Um I feel like they missed the ball on not having any Stranger Things when they've been pretty good with like other shows coming out immediately and them having product for it. Like they had it for they had it for like when the new Superman came out, they had it immediately.
Mm.
Maybe they just have a better partnership with Warner Brothers as of right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I still think they're gonna have a good 2025 was a weird year for them, but I think they turned it around actually and made their company more hype than ever. Um, and I think the jury's still out what they're gonna bring to the table because in my opinion, like, are we gonna get sick? And let us know in the comments. Like, I want them to come out with another product at this point. It just can't only be those mystery things. I don't know. Like, I don't want them only to be that. Like, what is your opinion?
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree. I think I don't even know if necessarily like, oh, they got to come out with another product, completely different SKU. But I do find it interesting that they kind of completely just disregarded where they started and the
Yeah.
products that they were coming out with in the beginning, which was obviously what they now call panoramics, which was the bigger frame. You know, it wasn't for everyone and whatever, but when they came out with Pix and they, changed the name to the Pix, which were more of a standard box, similar to like a Funko Pop, let's be real. But with the mystery aspect, everything having chase and all that kind of stuff, ripping it open, blind box kind of style. And then the smaller pixels, like those were awesome because we like that concept of the
Yeah.
blind box and mystery box and like ripping them open. And you were able to get a lot. And I will say they do a crazy variety of different IPs and stuff. So they're hitting on that end. But I'm surprised that they didn't still come out with some of the panoramic stuff. Like just even if it's like just once in a while, drop something.
Yeah.
Like it might not have been the most popular, but like I feel like if they still came out with them, people would still probably grab some of those, especially with the background and the whole aspect of why they made that style, let's say. And then they clearly completely disregarded and stopped making the bigger
The
megapix.
megapix.
Like they obviously just don't exist. And then now um the pixels, you have a chance if you pull the gold, you can get a megapix. No one has gotten one of those redeemed as far as I've seen. Obviously, it's still pretty new. I
Yeah,
don't know if
no.
there was a time period that those were going to be eventually quote unquote redeemed, whatever. But that was like what kind of changed our outlook on it when we went to New York Comic Con. And yeah, we saw the frames. We were like, oh, these are cool, cool. But then when we saw that booth, like that display they had of just megapix, like the sick ideas, the details, and we've seen how intense they are with like the hands and articulation, all that kind of stuff. They just, I know maybe it was expensive, the whole thing with the shipping, like all that stuff happened, and it seems like they just kind of like threw it out the window. And I feel like they kind of should bring that back. Not drop 50 different ones of those, but just have that as an option. Drop one a quarter, whatever it is, and mix it in with their regular picks and mix it in with the pixels and stuff. I think it would be fine because if you think about it, like if you say they should come out with a new product, like you were saying, right? Like what would it be? Like is it
I
just
have an
smaller
idea.
little blind bags that don't have the frames, like the pixels that are
Yeah.
frameless, let's say?
I think they should make a miniature version of the concept of the Megapix where you can take off the arms and you can change out the head. Like, I think that would be super cool. And when I say miniature, I mean, I wish they had the Megapix, but like more of like the size maybe of what the Pix is right now or a little bigger, where you kind of can make yourself unique. And that would be a whole new kind of product category in like the collectible space like that that isn't just like a traditional action figure. Um
Yeah.
and once again, no shade to the Pix line right now. Like I like it and I will still be buying them. I just it's getting to a point where it's just too much for me actually. It's funny. I like that you mentioned that there's a lot of variety, but now they're coming out with too many too fast. Like I wish they were more like what Rokimoto is doing. And then we're getting like, okay, Harry Potter's coming out, and then the next drop has another Harry Potter character, another Lord of the Rings. Like there's too much, in my opinion, too quickly. And they haven't besides some very rare ones, they haven't really done a good job of what Funko does. Now I know Funko's a much bigger company, but let's be real here. They have the connections, they have the licenses where we're not getting relevant stuff. And like, I don't want to bring up Stranger Things again, but I'll just use that as an example. Like, we got nothing for Stranger Things, like nothing. I find that kind of weird. Like, do you
Yeah.
like? We're not getting
I
like
mean,
in the moment pop culture stuff, really.
yeah. I mean, I understand, but like you said, I mean, they have done it before. Like they did it with it, Welcome to the Dairy, which the show barely even came out. And they already had it. So like, I don't think it's that. I think it really is just a license thing. Like, I really think they just have a very specific. Like, they have a lot of WB stuff. So like,
They
they
definitely have the
clearly have
Netflix
like a.
license, though.
Because who else?
They had Squid Game. They had the Blue Samurai. They had
Yeah, early on. Yeah,
early on. Maybe
maybe they
they don't
lost it.
have it anymore. Yep,
Yeah, maybe they
which is
lost it
possible.
because that was not even. Because I don't think they have any picks. Those were
You're right.
like
They
the
don't.
old picks. So maybe,
You're right.
which would suck. That would be crazy if that's
Because
what they lost.
maybe there
But
was something where they were allowed to make figures in that original Pix and that Panoramics look that
yeah,
didn't cross over into what they're doing now.
yeah. There's so many random nitpicky things when it comes to licensing and stuff. So that totally could be. But yeah, it's interesting. I think there's definitely things they can fix when it comes to what they're coming out, and I agree that like there is too much. Like I said, variety in the sense of like, yeah, you'll get
Yeah,
something kind of popular, something from like a long time ago, like kind of random in a way, which is nice. But I do agree that their drops are still too many at once. Like if I think later in the episode we might talk about some stuff like new stuff potentially that's coming out, and they have a bunch. Like the last time we talked about their like big wave that they had, there was a bunch of stuff, and then all of a sudden they announced another huge wave, and it was just
yeah,
kind of like they're dropping stuff like a lot, and like I don't want to like complain too much in the sense of like at least they're dropping something, at least they're giving something for somebody, you know. So like there's people out there who are probably excited about that, but it does seem overwhelming because then you kind of instead of just wanting to buy everything, you almost kind of like go whoa whoa whoa, and then you end up not getting anything because it's
agreed.
like
No,
what
you
do I
said that
choose or
perfectly.
whatever, right? So that's kind of been happening. I totally agree with you because there's even some lines like the Terrifier stuff. Those are sick. I like the way it looks. I love that franchise, and there's a few other ones, and I still kind of have not just been like, oh, I gotta go buy these. So it's a it's a weird time to know, like in the sense of like what gets you excited and where you're willing to go out there. But obviously, they still have diehard fans, and there's people that it it seems like majority of the ones that are diehard fans now and the people that we're seeing, a lot of people doing videos and stuff like that, kind of stick to strictly just them, which makes
Yes,
a little more sense. Because if you're getting a bunch of different things and all of that stuff, that's kind of like, whoa, that's kind of intense. So they feel like most of those people are like really just like starting their collections or just going on with their collections strictly through Thrilljoy, and they're not
no,
getting these other companies and things like that, which we were always like in that group where we just would mix a lot of different collectibles, and not everyone does, which is totally fine. But I think that's kind of where they're at. They have their the hardcore fan base, which will still stick around and support them and just get everything that comes out. And they might have a random person who grabs one here and there. Like we might fit into that one, right? But
well,
yeah,
it's interesting what
it's
you said
gonna be
though.
interesting what's gonna happen this year, though.
It is because do they keep ramping up with even more? Because like the one thing that's interesting about their fan base as a whole, is where I never felt like Funko was this way, and I think we're pretty good examples of a collector as a whole. Like we collected what like we liked, like the IPs that we liked, the sports we liked, the music. It seems like a lot of the hardcore Thrilljoy people are just buying them all, which is
Yeah,
good for Thrilljoy. It's just interesting the like community that they have built because I feel like it's more based off the gambling aspect of the
yeah.
product
No,
and
I'm
not
glad
the
you said that.
product.
I was gonna say I think the reason for like to answer your question, such which you pretty much did answer, is that the type of product that they come out with now, being the whole mystery aspect, being the whole chasing for an ultra chase that's 24 pieces or something that's 96 pieces or whatever, like that adds a different layer to like the quote unquote collector and the collectability of it. And these people that are really into them and they like the product, whatever, they're also just going to get more and more of the product because ultimately they're trying to get the chaser, ultimately they're trying to get the ultra chaser, whatever it is, rather than just like we're in a different mindset where it's like if I like the character, I can grab one. If it's a chaser or it's not,
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't even need to get two. Like the closest thing I could say to that was back when we were a lot more hardcore into like Funko sodas, because that was the whole push of a soda. Soda wasn't, you weren't just gonna go get one. Like
Yeah.
it was meant to be like, let me try to get these chases, let me try to get this, whatever it was. And it was like that added to the fun, that added to like the whole aspect of like collecting them. And that is the closest thing I feel like now is what's happening with Thrilljoy. Obviously, it's bigger products, a little different, but even the pixels, like that's kind of what a lot of people are doing, just out there, just grabbing pixels, trying to get the gold one, or trying to get, they're not just trying to complete a set and
Yeah.
that's it. So, yeah, I just do wonder what like this year will bring. Like, they're obviously still, you know, they seem pretty hyped on like what's going to happen for the company, and obviously this year we're going to see what's going to happen with events, and are they going to be a big part of cons and events, and like we spoke about Rokimoto earlier, are they going to be part of that stuff now too? Like 2026 will be an interesting year to see kind of where everyone goes on that aspect. But I will say one thing that's, I think we mentioned this before, but it's just, it's weird because you said this, I'm thinking now, you said this about Funko even when he was at Funko, but now it's like truly happening with this new company is that Brian, like you don't see or hear about Brian anymore. Like
No.
he really is that just behind the scenes CEO guy that's like not, like he had Mike obviously in Funko to kind of do that. And then when he was kind of trying to run things on his own, you could tell wasn't really, or
Yeah.
it just seems like that's not him. Like he can create things and he's probably coming up with a lot of these ideas and the connections with his IPs and all these things, but he really is like, we don't, I mean, I don't even know if a lot of events you even see him. I feel like he
No.
does signings and he pops up here and there, like he was at New York Comic Con, I remember.
I
But
feel
it's
like the
funny to
only
see that
reason
he's
he
not.
still even shows face is because he's not dumb. He knows he's the draw to the company for the community. Like, in my opinion, if he didn't start this company, would anyone even care? Like, that's a question. That's a debate for a whole other episode, but it would be interesting. Would
Yeah.
like anyone even be interested in this product? Let us know actually in the comments what you think. But that is something I would like to debate at a later time.
Yeah.
But it's just really interesting because him and Mike just work so well together, and Thrilljoy is still missing that piece. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what 2026 has in store for them. But then another company that I think crushed 2025 and is going to crush 2026, and we both love them. They just keep getting better and better, and that is VeeFriends, in my opinion. And they have really tapped in the collector world as a whole. They really brought out the card lover in me and got me back into baseball cards and Pokemon cards. They're now doing that with comic books, and they do it in a good way. Like they give you stuff, and then like you can like love that like that's another thing I love about VeeFriends. I'm curious what your opinion is too. Like you can love that product for like a decent amount of time in the moment. Like it was Topps Chrome, then it became the super sticker beat at that point. Now it's like been the comic books. We're gonna get another super sticker. They're always giving us new stuff, but like they let it marinate and breathe, which like I haven't thought as much about this than I am right now talking about it. I think that's another thing I really love about them, and we always get stuff from them though, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. They have good timing. And I mean, the biggest difference I want to say with like this company and comparing it to, not that they're the same as the other ones, but like we collect. So obviously we
Yeah,
put them all in a bucket and say like, these are all collectible companies. Um, is like Gary's like he is the company. He's
Yeah.
doing everything with the company. He's in the forefront of the company. He isn't just like a businessman only and a CEO. Like he is so many things, and obviously, ultimately, entrepreneur and starting businesses and really realizing where the money is and knowing about social media and knowing about like right now he's pushing live shopping like crazy because that's what he's doing and he loves working with whatnots and ebays and all those people of the world and Walmart live and everything. Like he's always ahead of like what's the next trend and what's going to happen and what's going to blow up, what's going to make him money, I'm sure, and what's going to make him more popular and
Yes.
keep him going and growing his business, right? A lot of other people don't always think that way. Like they have a team of 50 billion people that are doing different things, and it seems like he obviously has a team and his team is great, but like he is so involved in everything. And I think that with this company, you can tell that, like, once you just begin to get into it, like the fact that he's always the one on the whatnot streams and he has a team, but he pops in all the time and like he's so involved, I think is what brings like this whole sense of like community and this whole sense of like you trust in
Yeah.
him because he's the one delivering the message and showing what products they have and whatever, right? So like that's a whole different thing that a lot of other people don't have. So that already is kind of like a one up for them. But I think their products are great. Obviously, everything that came out 2025 was big for them because comics
Yep.
became a thing, which, you know, like you just said, that got me into like, wow, comics are cool and getting it. Obviously, comics been around forever or whatever, but like I was never into that. And, you know, I've been mostly collecting just them, but here and there I'll get a different comic or whatever. But it's just got me thinking of it. Cards the same way. Like we started getting into cards a little bit before really them. It was
Yes.
kind of a mix, but having that hype of them, and then obviously we went through our Lorcana phase and Pokemon here and there, and then sports has always been a big thing. But it always comes back to like just ripping things and the joy of you know having different types of cards to rip and whatever. And VeeFriends is kind of just like added to that. But like you said, they're doing a lot of new cool stuff, but it's not like too overwhelming. They come out with the comics every once in a while. Like you're not getting them
Yep.
weekly. And then like I think the only thing, obviously Topps Chrome came out in 2025, so that was a huge thing too that shifted where they really started putting a lot of their attention into. I think the only thing, and we've said this before, and it's the only thing that's probably made it a little tough, is like their fan base and their style of like flipping and like
Yeah.
make money on this and driving up prices, which is totally fine. That's just what they do. Is the only thing that makes it kind of like a little bit like, I don't wanna say undesirable, but sometimes it's kinda like, "Oh, well, that's too much, or I'm not gonna get this, whatever, let me not go crazy." But I don't, like, hate it. It's weird. I don't know why. I don't wanna be
I agree with
hypocritical
you.
because when other companies do it, like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, "What the hell?" I don't know. It's just like it's a strange thing. Like, I'm okay with the fact that, like, I'm not gonna go buy that treasure chest that costs hundreds of dollars, whatever, because I just don't need to do that. I'm not gonna go buy a secondhand Chrome box because I got some Chrome cards and that was
You're
enough. I
good.
don't need to do, you know, whatever. But they have people that will, and they have fans and stuff that are gonna nonstop buy everything that they have. So that will continue to keep driving them, and then they can still get other smaller things like for people like us, like the hats and comic books and things that aren't as
Yeah.
crazy to
Even
get.
like you said, their apparel's pretty cool too, between their hats and the limited shirts, and everything is always limited,
Hmm.
which is cool, but it's also obtainable. And like I to go off of what you said about like them selling stuff at quote unquote the market value. The one thing though, for most of their product, they've given us an opportunity to get it for what they deem as retail, which I appreciate. And then if you don't, this is why Gary loves the live shopping. And obviously, this is the business of it all. Get a chance to get it when it first comes out. And if you choose not to get it to come out, that's on you. And then you're going to pay the market value, whatever the fan base deems it. Kind of like you said, like for some reason for them, like I don't necessarily hate it. Like I feel like it's part of the community. It's not just people trying to screw people over. Whereas if it was like a Funko Pop or like a Thrilljoy, like sometimes I feel that people are just being dicks to be dicks, if that makes sense. It's weird. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for what they have in store for the new year. I think they're going to grow more than any of these companies that we've been talking about, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, they've, of anyone, have talked about it
Yeah.
like nonstop. Like the ending of 2025 was all about what 2026 had and how many comics were already set up to be coming out and how far ahead they were when it came to that. And obviously more cards, maybe another set of Chrome. They're doing the super stickers. A lot of like those are going to be coming soon, I believe, right? So I've completely
Yeah.
forgot that we even ordered those
Yeah.
super sticker boxes, but
I think next
like that'll
month.
be coming soon. So that'll start hitting like, out there on streams and people ripping and stuff. So that'll be a whole nother, avenue of stuff to talk about. And then they still have their OG stuff, and there's still people that are out there collecting and selling and doing that. So like they have a lot to offer, and it's a definitely an exciting aspect to it. It's pretty dangerous. It is like if you want to talk about gambling, like there's definitely people that are in for sure the gambling
Yes.
addictions and stuff and getting into some of them, especially the high roller guys. But it's just it's what it is. But we can still live in that and get stuff that applies to us that we don't have to go
You know
crazy
what's
for and still
funny
be happy.
that you bring that up, and not to throw shade at other companies, but I love that VeeFriends though, like kind of educates you on the whole quote unquote gambling of it all, tells you to be responsible. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Like the list goes on and on. Where I just feel like other companies are taking advantage of their consumers in the collecting world right now. We're like VeeFriends, like no one really talks about this, and I want to give them props. Like people can say that they what they want about Gary Vee, but like they are telling people, we say this all the time, like if you can't afford it, don't get it. Like it's not imperative
Hmm.
to your life, yada yada yada. But I do like that, even though obviously ripping cards is gambling per se, they like are educating people on it, if that makes sense, which I
Yeah.
like. But
Yeah. No, it
just
makes sense. I mean, the closest thing I think we can kind of put to that would be like if we went into Funko, right? And we spoke about specifically, like, let's say the NFTs.
yeah,
That'd probably be the closest thing to it, right? Where it's like you're buying packs, you don't know where you're going to get. You can pay whatever money and get nothing. Then you can buy it on a resale market for a certain price, whatever. But like, no one was ever monitoring that or
no,
like even speaking to the community. It was just like, oh well, go get it. And if you couldn't control yourself, they weren't stopping you, so you were just gonna keep
no.
going.
I
So it's
yeah.
kind of like that.
I mean, that's the way I look at Thrilljoy. I actually think they celebrate it, where like, hey, someone's got to pull that 24 piece, but the odds are not in your favor, and people keep going after the same ones over and over and over and over again. I'm kind of just like, whoa. I don't know. I know a lot of people who listen to the podcast will completely disagree with me. It's just my opinion. Like something just sits wrong with me with Thrilljoy with that. And I think it's why I don't get as excited about them. And it's the reason I brought up the VeeFriends thing. But you're totally valid. I love the drop example too. I mean, and it's sad though, rest in peace drop. But like Funko wasn't telling anyone to stop buying that either. I mean, we've seen some people who are like, dude, I don't know how you're pulling this many redeemables. There's no way you actually should be doing that. But it's not my
Yeah.
money, it's not my problem.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting.
Yeah. Definitely. It definitely is. And I mean, I'm glad I brought up Funko because I didn't want to say something like, obviously, Funko is still a king when it comes
Yep.
to collectibles and vinyl figures, and a lot of people are doing things that they already have been doing for years and whatever, and they're still around. But 2025 was an interesting year for them. It wasn't the best. They went through a lot of changes, CEO change again, and it's just like it was not
No.
where we really thought they would be at. Some people said they were gone, they were dead. Like, no, they still exist, but like they're just in a weird space. They're obviously starting new things. They're trying to come out with new products. We got premium mystery boxes from them, which we had been screaming from the rooftops for years that Funko should be doing, and now they're trying to get into it. Is it too late? I think so, and I don't know if
And
they
they sold
really
the case for the
did a
price of
great job
one.
of it. Yeah, yeah, definitely been a mistake online with that. Unless they just wanted to get rid of them that bad, who knows? Say that they sold out, but yeah, they're just they still exist in the sense of like they're still coming out with so much stuff, and
Yeah,
like
they have that
even
hasn't
just the
stopped.
Funko Pop, like there's still so many movies, there's still so many shows, there's still so many IPs all over the world that they will continue to have their hands in and come out with something that you're like, oh, I'm a fan of this. And it's still a Funko Pop. So if you ever loved the Funko Pop just because of what it was and the nostalgia and everything, like they're still doing that. They didn't change that. So like it's still gonna get people to buy. It's still gonna,
Yes.
get people to get excited for this product or that product, whatever. I think this year they dabbled into a couple random lines and things that I don't think they really needed to do, and I think that's where like it kind of got messy. I think the biddies is still ridiculous, but they obviously are really doubling down on those. Um, they got rid of soda, obviously. They got rid of a lot of other products, but then they came out with a bunch of other random products. So it was kind of like a weird, messy year, and they lost a lot of money. That was a lot of stuff that was being talked about towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
So now it's like this year, what are they going to do? Obviously, they have the new CEO. He has kind of a different vision. He has connections in different big companies. So a lot of people are pretty optimistic of where this can go. But it just, I don't know. It's a weird state for me because I really completely stopped buying them. Like literally throughout the whole year, maybe a handful of Funko Pops is what I bought. And that would never happen. That would be one shopping cart
Yeah.
on a week, and then the next week I'll do it again. And it was just like what it was. A few things obviously go into that. Obviously, you have no room, you have too much
Yeah.
stuff, you don't want to keep spending money. Like there's a lot more. It's not just because it was Funko sucks. It wasn't that. But the
But
hype
that
and
played a part in it.
excitement isn't necessarily there. Yeah, because you're just not like, oh my god, I have to. It was more like, I guess I could just whatever. Or I don't like this product, or I don't like that they're coming out with these random things. I loved sodas and then they stopped. So I can't buy them. Like a lot of that stuff was kind of in the
Yeah.
mix. But yeah, it's gonna be I wonder what's going to happen for this year. But what are kind of your thoughts? Because even this is where it gets kind of crazy for you guys who have been. I mean, we're on episode 148 right now, so we've had 148 episodes spanning over a few years now at this point. So you guys have kind of seen our journey as collectors and how hardcore we were, and we were huge fans. Charlie
Yeah.
was glazing the shit out of Funko. Let's be real, for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
and it was to the point that
I was
both of
hardcore.
us would be fans, but if you ever had to be like, oh, someone's gonna give up, you'd be like, all right, Migs probably will give up. Charlie's never gonna give up. And then like this last year, I will say I was even surprised and shocked that you really did pull back. And it wasn't maybe as much as I did, but probably pretty
No, but
close in the sense of
pretty
like
close.
purchases. And I don't know, you want to talk about your thoughts
Yeah,
and
it's
what's up
pretty
with Funko?
close. I mean, like I haven't bought in many Funko Pops at all. I definitely was kind of butthurt that sodas went away. I love sodas just as much as you did. The
Mm-hmm.
NFTs kept me going. I was doing that a
Yep.
little more than
Another one,
you.
yep.
That was like my one like thing that I loved. They killed that. Um, you know, they just kept making too many. One thing they did that I really didn't like is they overproduced. They made you feel like you needed to buy them, and I was buying these, and then a few months later, they're like 50% off.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. Um, and then, yeah, like I, I still love Funko at the end of the day, but I just finally was like, I don't need all of these. And like we said, they were making too many. The Stranger Things is one of my favorite shows of all time. I've always collected Stranger Things Funko Pops. The new ones came around. It kind of made me feel like, okay, I want to buy some Funko Pops again. I didn't get them all. I got some of the ones that I was able to find. or some of my favorite characters. But even then, like they still are making the same mistakes that I don't like. Like perfect example is like 11 in the first half of season 5 when she's kind of wearing that like outfit that's kind of a nod to the Goonies with like the sweatshirt. They made like a few poses of that. Like
Yeah,
they need to
that's where it's
stop
too much.
doing that. Like it's also it's even hilarious because like one of the characters so like one of our sons' name is Lucas, and my wife collects the Lucas Funko Pops from Stranger Things, that she has on her desk. And I'm even looking like they're still picking weird scenes. Like this isn't even a spoiler if you haven't watched it, but like one of the Funko Pops they made of him was a throwaway scene where he's eating popcorn. I don't know if you saw that one. Like it was just like
Hmm.
I don't like know if this is creative of that, but it's super cool and niche, or just like you didn't need to make like a 2 molds of Lucas from this season. And that was like
Yeah,
it's stuff that they still like. The thing that's really hurt me about Funko is they don't seem to learn from their mistakes. And I understand they're a big business, but as you just said, towards the end of last year, like they weren't doing well. It was very documented. They're a publicly traded company. It's just stuff like that. And I also don't really think they're there for the fans anymore. And it's really shown. There's even a few people I know who do glaze Funko who are content creators, and they don't even feel like they're being shown the love that they deserve. And I'm like, you should be showing this person love. Like, they legitimately never say anything bad about you, and you still aren't even recognizing them. They know the few people that they are in bed with, and like they call it a day. I don't know. It's just I'm really hoping the new CEO can like change it. Like that's why this year, maybe we said this last year, but like 2026 is a big year for them, I think, for the community. One thing that we haven't talked about yet, though, that like I have not bought in one, I haven't gone into it because to me, I just don't love the way they've done it. But the limited edition seems to have like really brought some hype back to the community with like the LE pieces that you need to use your fan reward points for. It's just I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, is this manufactured hype? People are just buying them once again, kind of like the Thrilljoy because they're limited pieces. Like there's just like no fun in it anymore. I don't know. And once again, like
yeah,
they just keep overproducing. Like Star Wars, that's like my one holy grail that I talk about all the time. That's what got me into Funko. I have at one point I was like basically a Star Wars completionist. I'm like, dude, you got to stop making the same Luke Skywalker pose over and over. With Vader, we joke like it's just that's once again where I'm just like this isn't it anymore. But
yeah.
yeah, even too
That's
another
when
thing
it
I want to
gets
say, another product
not
I
fun.
actually bought recently because basically I ended the year getting some Funko product just because I really wanted to pop yourself of Stranger Things. Came like all busted. My head was off the body. My glasses were like messed up. It's even like like their QC process just also they don't I've emailed them to like kind of be like, hey, this is messed up. Like I want a new one. They've ghosted me, which normally Funko is pretty good about getting back to the consumers through email, and they're just not responding. They're pulling a
Yeah,
drop. So it's
yeah.
just
It's just
wild
getting.
and rant. But
Yeah, no, but it's true. It's just it's something that has just not been where it used to be, and there's a lot of issues and problems, and I mean, it's gonna happen. But I feel like because of like what I said in the beginning, where it's like people still have nostalgia for a pop,
yeah,
people still love a movie or a show or whatever. Like they're always still going to be able to come out with something, and someone's gonna buy it most likely. Obviously, they're gonna have a lot of stuff that doesn't because they're just doing so much. But I do agree where maybe not your just average random collector fan that's not like super super into Funko will notice this, but when you are into it and you invest a lot of time and money into them and they do the like whole duplicates and like one character 4 different slight poses. Like that's just getting it's also a waste of their time and money
Uh,
too. Like why are they even
agreed.
doing it? Like clearly they could be profiting and doing better by not doing that. Like there's like certain things
Yeah.
that I'm just like they seem so obvious, but clearly it's just not. And it just kind of pisses us off because it's just like when you really want to collect, you're a completionist or whatever, you're like, oh, do I really have to get both of these or three of these or whatever it is? And it does kind of put a sour taste in your mouth when that happens. But yeah, they're a company that's it's strange because like I feel like we will forever still support them in a way or like,
Yep.
never completely cut it off, but it is drastically different than what it was for sure for both of us now at this point. It's not just one of us. So
And
that says a lot.
there is one thing I want to add too that also doesn't help. And I understand it's the state of our world, but it still sucks as a collector. The Funko Pops have almost doubled in price since I
Yeah.
started collecting. That also kind of makes me not want to collect as much anymore either.
Yep. Yep. And that I will say we can't say it's like Funko's fault because there are other companies that are a little cheaper, but clearly they are someone that I feel like got hit kind of harder where they had to make so much because even before the real crazy crap with the economy and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that they still were raising their prices. Like
Yep,
they were
they've been
still
raising them.
going that route, and then it just kept going. Obviously, and, yeah,
I'm pretty sure Funko will tell you now the price of a standard pop is supposed to be $14.99, but like I was looking for some Stranger Things ones that I wanted, and I was on Hot Topic, $16. Like,
on Hot Topic. Well, yeah, on
yeah,
Funko they're $14.99. That's like their
and it's
base.
just like, whoa. And I mean, grand scheme of it, I know that's not a lot, but when you've been collecting for so long, and I used to buy them for $8.99, and then where I give props to Thrilljoy, I mean, their product is so much more high quality at $19.99.
Yeah,
It's a much more high quality to attention to detail. You get those, and like, I don't really think I've had any that look like there's some like botch paint jobs at all. They all look
no,
good. You get that trading card. Um, the packaging is way
they're
nicer.
limited.
Yeah, so, like, when you look at that, it's just like, "Whoa." So, hopefully, all that can get straightened out and, yeah, they can do something with it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it happens in 2026. I feel like every year we've kind of been slowly saying the same thing, but
Yeah.
like in hopes that maybe something will be different or whatever. This year's just, I don't even know what to say. It's kind of just like, what'll happen will happen to everything, and we'll see. We'll be here to talk about it, I'm sure, regardless of how it goes. But it is a company that, we will continue to still speak about, and I'm sure they'll continue to be in the news when it comes to collecting and collectors and stuff like that. But uh, I did want to bring up, so this isn't anything about last year, and this was anything else like specific that you wanted to talk
There's only
about
one company I wanna bring up
2025.
that kind of had, I think, the biggest 2025, but then totally took a nosedive, and I'm curious if you have any idea the company I'm gonna say is Pop Mart with Labubus. I mean,
Oh
we
yeah.
cannot not
Well,
talk about them really quick. I mean,
that's true because that was also, I mean, they've been around, but this year was their
yeah,
big year. Obviously, we really got into them this year. Obviously, Labubu was a big thing. Um, I don't, I don't know if I would say it was necessarily a nosedive, but I think the Labubu specific craze is the one that kind of
that's
it's
more
still
what I
out
mean.
there and
Yeah,
it's
but it's
still
not
people are still
what it
getting them, but
was.
it's not as peak at all for sure. And they still kind of doing their, I guess they're now it's like they're back to what they were, where they were like a cool
Yes,
mystery box, small
company.
blind box company. Like if you knew them, you knew them, you go in there, whatever.
So
Then
true.
obviously during their huge Labubu phase, they were just getting everyone because it was like, oh, I gotta get that, whether you're a kid, grown up, male, female, didn't matter. It was a mix. And now they're kind of back to like the way they were. So that is an interesting like dynamic. Like this year was probably great. I mean, the owner or whatever and the boo boo, like the amount of money the guy made
Yeah.
just in that small short period of time was so crazy. So I'm
Yes.
sure even if they're not selling a single Labubu, he's
He's
still
good.
chilling. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to
but
bring
yeah,
that
that is
up
an
because
interesting one.
we were super into them. They were so fun. Going on Pop Mart trying to get them, like that truly was like the thrill of like collecting that no company has
Oh yeah,
had that type of hype since the early days of Funko.com. But yeah, I
yeah,
just had to throw that in there.
yeah. No, that's a funny one. I didn't even think about that because I feel like it was almost felt like it
Which
was so long ago, but it
shows,
was,
yeah,
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 just so removed from that now at this point. But we always give them props because that's who we were like, oh, this is what people should be doing. And then
yep.
we got Thrilljoy, and then we got Rokimoto, and now we got
They
Funko
all
trying
copied
to
them.
do that. And it's like they're all kind of doing that now. So it makes sense that it's obviously something that people like. And even if it's not at that peak chaotic hype that it was, it's still something that
Yeah.
people like to do and buy and stuff. Ultimately, we have a lot of gambling problems in this country, I guess. Um, but so a different thing and a company I wanted to bring up because this was something kind of more news related to now, but even over this past year, obviously they were always come out with stuff and they had drops and stuff, and I think we would get some stuff here and there. There's actually, yeah, one of them specifically I remember getting, and that's the company Lego, which obviously is
Yes.
massive and will always be massive and been around for a long time. But what I was talking about, like as far as even getting some stuff, I got into them and I got the Formula One cars. That was a big drop when I saw that come out, and I was really hyped about that. They obviously consistently come out with tons of Star Wars stuff and the what do they call it? The bus
Yeah, like
face
a
that they
bust of a
do, and
face.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and all those, and then different sets and small. And then my daughter started getting into them, so like smaller sets for kids and stuff. But she was really getting into it. I know you and your kids are also enjoy
We're
it as
pretty
well.
hardcore. Yeah.
Um, I even got my wife a flower one that she built herself, like one of those floral ones,
Yeah, those are cool.
botanical style, and she loves it. Like she wants another one already because she loved doing it and had it, like getting that first one. But something that was more like recent. So two things. One, speaking of Stranger Things obviously was massive and it was all over the place. And they came out with a set that we actually made a little short
Yeah.
of. Speaking about the Creole House, which was a big set because the last time they did like an upside down thing for Stranger Things, and it was pretty popular, and it was a while ago.
Yep.
So this was the first one, like with a really big one with a ton of minifigures of like all the characters, and there's like a bajillion characters in season 5 now. So they got them all in there, and they got this like super sick looking house. It was like $300. It was like 11,000 pieces. Like it's obviously a big set,
Yeah.
but yeah, it sold pretty fast, and it was a lot of hype behind that. So twofold, obviously Lego's popular regardless of what it is, but when it's a big IP or it's hitting like a show or a movie, it gets even more hype behind it. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if you had, I know you were a fan of that one too,
I
right?
mean, that is awesome. I mean, I wanted it and just like convinced myself not to try to get it just because
Yeah,
how much it cost. And I kind of
yeah,
now
it's
like
pricey. Some
it's
of their
right.
sets get pricey, but
They do. And now I kind of like, I kind of regret it, as dumb as that
I
sounds,
know,
because
I know.
I'll never be able to get that ever now. If I wasn't going to spend $300 on it, there's no way I'm ever getting it now. Because that is like one thing too that a lot of people may not realize. Like, you want to talk about trading card investments, but like Lego is a good investment if for some of these big sets, because Lego actually retires those things, never
Mhm.
come out again. And yeah, actually it's just funny. I got like out of all the collectibles, like the only real thing I got for Christmas in that realm was a Lego. I got the Game Boy set where you build like the
Oh yeah,
original
yeah,
Game
yeah,
Boy. But yeah, I
which is
loved,
cool.
back to your original question, that set. Whenever they come out with houses like that, like I feel like that's something I really want in my collection. Another one, they made like the Home Alone house a few years ago.
Yep.
They're just so cool, but it's just like I have no place to really put them.
Yeah, you have to have like
Yeah.
a specific shelving or something that you're gonna display these on because like you're clearly not gonna just build it and then destroy it. Like like what's the point of that? Like you want to show it off.
Yes.
but especially when it's like a house. Like I said, I have like some of the Formula One cars. I have one of the OG Batmobiles, and like those are small enough that I can put them on a
Yeah.
little shelf and it's okay. But these like massive houses of like thousands of pieces, like it's a lot. It's yeah,
Especially then for them
you
to
gotta
get
have someone to
destroyed.
put it.
Like we built the Bluey house in my house and it's destroyed now.
And
So
the craziest thing about it's so funny because there's like crazy videos of people destroying like massive pieces. But the funny thing is, and the interesting part about like Lego, so Lego is, and I always thought this was wild, is like whoever designs these is a freaking genius.
yeah.
Like the fact that it's like these pieces are you gonna need to make this piece, and it makes whatever, whatever, right? And you get the
Yeah.
picture, which is cool. And then you got to go through all the steps because you can't just do it your own way. Like you have to go through the steps. It has to be this, there, whatever. And it's one of those things that if you lose a piece, if it falls and breaks,
You're
and you
screwed.
lose 1, 2, 3 pieces, you're never going to be able to build it again the same way. So then it's like it's almost like if you had a piece of glass that broke, you're never going to put it back together again. It's the same kind of concept. It's not like another toy that you can just be like, oh, let me put these 3 pieces together. Like,
No.
no, like you missing a
It's
couple key
miserable,
pieces, that's it. You're
especially
never
in my
gonna
house, because I would say that's probably one of my kids' biggest hobbies. And then Chip will be like, "Oh, if it breaks, doesn't matter. Like Legos are meant to then create what you want." Like,
a
which is
new
kind of
thing.
it's like annoying because like he is really creative at building his own, but then I'm like, why am I getting these Minecraft sets or why am I getting these
Yeah.
Star
See, that's
Wars
the thing. That's why
sets?
you
Yeah,
get just like pieces and
exactly.
you
But then
build
you
your
don't
own
get the
house, you build
Minecraft
whatever.
Legos, Dad. I'm like,
But of course you can't get to that specific. But when it's meant to be built as a piece, like yeah,
yeah,
that's why it's funny. Lego's always gonna be one of those things that's like it spans from a child to an adult because it has a
yes.
variety of different pieces that you can do. And it's an
It's
interesting
also
one. We
very
don't talk about it
relaxing to
enough.
build.
Oh yeah, yeah, which is why Sin loved it.
Yeah.
She says she just sat and just kind of just built it on her own and was like so like she's recently gotten really into like coloring. Like she
Okay.
has the alcohol pens, like
Yep.
markers, and she gets like just random coloring books and like colors all the time just to kind of relax and chill. And Brooklyn does the same thing. And when she did that, she was like, "Oh yeah, I got to get another one of these pieces. I want to make one for her office or whatever." Um, but yeah, Lego's a funny thing because it's like it has always been something that we enjoy. I definitely don't have that many, but we don't really talk about it a lot. And they do come out with a lot of sets and a lot of things
Yeah.
that we definitely both enjoy. Um, but I will say something is going to be dropping. So going into like stuff that's coming for the new year,
Yes.
that is soon. I believe it's like 3 days. As of us recording this, it was like 3 days is when you can start pre-ordering a completely new thing that I think is going to kind of change the game when it comes to Lego and
Yeah.
where it's going to go and whatever. It is called like Smart Play, Smart Brick.
Yep.
And two things. One, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if you know the price point of how this
I
is going to be.
I don't
I
know
think
if
it's
they've
kind of
shown
hidden,
that
right?
yet.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think anyone really knows. So that's going to be interesting because I feel like it's going to be pretty pricey when you kind of see what it does.
You would assume.
But the second thing is just like what this is going to mean, like, to the Lego world and like the building, whatever. And like what I'm sure this is the very beginning and it'll probably expand and be able to do more and whatever. But I don't know. Do you have something pulled up to kind of go
Yeah.
over essentially what
So,
it is?
I mean, basically, they've designed a smart Lego brick that, a chip is living inside here, which for people who are in the Lego world, like there are interactive Legos already. Like I know my kids have a bunch of the Mario ones, which like you put the little chip on it and like it'll play songs and like Mario will interact with it. But like this is
Yeah.
like that on like steroids.
Hmm.
It is actually going to be like interacting with you in real time, where they showed an example of a car that if you put the smart brick on top of it and the car crashes, let's say you're playing with it and you throw it up against the wall, it's going to make crashing noises.
Yeah.
If you flip it over, it's gonna know that happened. It will interact with minifigures. Like, the big thing they showed today at CES when they were announcing this was, like, the Star Wars partnership.
Yep.
So there's gonna
Like a
be
few sets.
a few sets, and, you're gonna have, like, TIE fighters, and it's legitimately gonna make the noises of the TIE fighter while you are, like, flying, like, what you
Yeah, like the
envision.
motion that you make, if you
Yes.
shake it a certain way, like
Which
it
is crazy that they're
recognizes.
doing this, because I can't wait for my son to see this, because what they're showing is what I tell him all the time not to do. I'm like, "We build them, and then we look at them, because if you do this, they're gonna break." But now, like, Lego, not that Lego hasn't told you not to play with them before, but, like, they're just so in that now. And another thing that I found interesting, but I get it. They're trying to enter that space of, like, screen free for children, and they're kind of trying. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's cool. Like, this is their new product that gets them in there, where kids can still interact and live in the Star Wars world, but they don't need to be glued to an iPad playing a game. They can now kind of, like, do that with their Legos.
Yeah.
um
Well, it also it gives them like the toy
yeah,
now, not just a collectible, like you were saying.
yeah, it
Like
actually
you don't just have to build
works.
it and put it on a shelf. Like you actually could play with it and like use it. And it I know some of the Star Wars ones probably are a little bit more detailed, but like the little car and the little things that they were showing, like they were pretty basic. Where it's
Yes.
like if it did crash or break, whatever, you could just kind of build it again. It wasn't like it wasn't the Creel house where you were plugging something in and
No.
vectors coming out and all this crazy stuff, right? That would be kind of nuts. But it opens up like you thinking like what's going to happen and where they're going to continue this going into. But it also is just like wild and scary to see like how intense like they're doing like a chip can like just have you touch. It's just it is a crazy thing to see,
Yeah,
but it's cool. And I think it's something completely different, and it's gonna be pretty badass to see what else you can do with this. But I do wonder, like, what's that price point's gonna look like for this stuff? Because I think if you get those sets, they all come with like one of the smart
correct.
bricks,
They
right?
come
Like
with a
in
smart
part of the
brick, they
set or
come with
whatever.
the you need to
Because I think
have.
they even interact with each other if you have multiple and stuff like
Correct.
that.
The one thing too is all this stuff, I'm not sure if you can just get, like, and I don't know if you've interpreted it this way, like, you can get a smart brick, and if a set is compatible with the smart bricks, like, you can use them all intertwined. I think that's kinda
Yeah,
how it is. You're gonna need more
yeah.
than one. Yeah,
It
okay.
seems like that's kind of what you would like, what you would need to be able to do. But I do know that like obviously if you're getting a set that's
It'll come
like
with it.
based off that, you're gonna have, well, yeah, it's not like you have to
Yeah,
buy it separately. Like it at least will come
because
with
the
it. But
minifigures
then
are
again, you
also
probably
gonna
can
be.
buy them.
Yes,
Yeah, and the
exactly,
figures
which
as well. Yeah,
could help a little bit with the price point. Where if you,
sure.
like, buy it separate, like, I mean, who knows? It's interesting they haven't
Yeah, the
announced it,
sets
but
might be where it gets a little bit, but
yeah.
because they're, I mean, let's be real, like good Legos or Lego sets, let's say, are not cheap. So
No.
we know their price points are usually kind of
I'm just
wild,
like,
but
are they gonna get it to a point where it's not crazy expensive if they want the kid aspect? Like,
yeah,
yes, all sets can get
which kind of seems
expensive.
how they push this. They kind of pushed it like
Yeah,
not just for like an older crowd.
correct, which makes me feel like it has to be affordable is not the right word, but it's not gonna be like, "Okay, all these sets are 3 to $500."
Yeah, yeah. Be
Which
nuts.
then no one's gonna buy them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
So something new and definitely expanding off of other, like you were saying, other similar type things, but way more in depth and a lot better
it's gonna, and you said it
version.
earlier, it's gonna change the game, and I can see other companies copying them now. Like, dude, I'm just thinking, like, you could do this with Funko. Like, you could do
I mean, yeah,
this
if we really want to get
concept.
into this specifically is very detailed, like on the movements and the
Yes,
sounds,
yes.
but There are toys and stuff that have a similar type thing. Like, I mean, you would know this, like the Toy Story toys from Disney,
Yep.
they interact with each other.
Yeah.
Which I when me we got Brooklyn a few randomly, and then this last trip we got a couple more characters she didn't have, and only because I was opening up the box and read that it said you can. I didn't even know that you can interact it with like another one if you had it. I was like, wait, what? And then I realized there's like a little mode that you put on it, but it's obviously using some type of,
Yeah.
I don't know what's the word, NFC, whatever it is, that it's like a connection wirelessly, whatever. And even that, I was like, this is pretty cool.
Cool.
Like that it knows it's another similar thing, and they talk to each other or do whatever. And when I saw this, it kind of like, it's obviously a little different, but it got me in that like, wow, yeah, they're clearly like just ramping up that concept. And like you said, yeah, it could totally go into other completely different products and toys and whatever it is. I just think they are really trying to like start it up because you can only build things and put them up for so long. So you got to
Yeah.
kind of have a little bit in that aspect. And like you said, yeah, a lot of kids maybe aren't building because they're on their iPads or they're just playing. And even Lego itself has gone into games virtually
Yeah.
and shows and movies and stuff, right? Because they kind of had to, I'm sure. So it's like now they're trying to get back. All
Yeah.
right,
Because
hands on. Let's play with some toys. They
yeah,
do some pretty badass stuff.
it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. But that's I can't wait to see kind of a little bit more of this. Obviously, it's just unveiled and talked about it, but how we're going to see it coming out soon. So when you guys hear this, it'll probably be out already. But
I
check it
will
out. Let us know
definitely
what you
be
guys think.
getting. I will definitely be getting it.
Yeah,
So
I want to check these out for sure. Hopefully, it's not something that's like, well, it's a pre-order, so I'm assuming it'd be a little easier to kind of at least get an order in.
yeah,
Maybe
and
not sell
like
out, but who knows?
I feel like this
For
won't be
initial wave.
hard to get. I mean, maybe in the beginning, but
Yeah.
they want it to be intertwined in their world. They typically don't, just from someone who does get a lot of Lego product, like the Creel House is an exception. Like most sets, they're like gonna let you get until they retire them.
Yeah.
It's not just like, okay, it's gone, you're never getting it again.
Yeah.
So
Which I mean, that might come back. It says temporarily out of stock on their site.
exactly, it could.
So we're
Which
still
it
waiting for
probably
that
will,
part.
and everyone who's paying these crazy reseller prices is gonna be
That's my
pissed.
problem. That's with every product. When you just jump on it and you get too excited, like, let them
Exactly.
at least see if it comes back out first before you go spend all that money. I don't know. Is there anything else kind of big? I mean, I know we have a lot of Funko stuff that came out on Thrilljoy, but I think we could probably save that stuff for a
Yeah.
different episode. Um, But for the new year, just overall, like obviously, I would say if you want to kind of tie a bow on it with this way, we could just kind of say like, I am excited to kind of see where everyone goes and all these companies. Obviously, like we spoke about, the Thrilljoy, Rokimoto, Funko, Pop Mart, see where they're going, Lego, Tops. We didn't even get to talk about them, but like
I know.
Tops is massive still. They're
crushing
coming
it.
out with
I mean,
so many drops, and they're really not just only doing sports. We kind of mentioned this in the past, but they even had a Stranger Things thing. I think the Tops now has become really popular and good because they could just hit on whatever's currently happening in all pop culture and sports. So like that's exciting. There's so many waves and lines and stuff coming out, even just on the sports aspect. So it's
there's
a
too
little
many.
overwhelming,
Yeah.
but it gives you an opportunity to kind of pick and choose at what you like, and maybe
And you
what
can
you want to
always get
continue to collect. You don't
product,
have to get everything. Yeah, and
which
they have
I
like
like.
the high end stuff is going to be hard to get, and if you really want to get like hobby stuff, which is obviously going to be the biggest chances and biggest pulls, you're not going to get, but you can get product in general somewhere at Target or Walmart or whatever, because they come out with a lot of their base stuff for everyone and for the masses, which I like about it as well. But yeah, those are kind of some of the big ones that I'm excited for, and just kind of see what's going to happen
Yeah.
for
I mean,
this new year. And obviously VeeFriends still
yeah, basically
killing the
same
game as
here.
well.
I'm excited to see all that VeeFriends has to offer. I'm excited to see if, what Funko is gonna change up this year. Will it be status quo? Will it be, changing it up. I think it's going to be changing it up. I think if something doesn't work, it's going to get the axe. Going to try some new things.
Quicker,
They're going
like
to
a
go along with
quicker
the hype.
drop of
Um, and yeah, I'm just excited for Rokimoto. Hopefully, get to finally go to one of their events, which I really want to do. See how they are in that environment, because we've experienced Thrilljoy. We've obviously experienced VeeFriends, and we've experienced Funko. Rokimoto is the only brand that we love that we haven't experienced. And I'm happy you brought up Tops too. I still love collecting cards. I mean, I had, over our little hiatus, I mean, I've ripped open, I didn't make videos of it because it's just too hard, but I ripped open Marvel, like Studios Chrome, some Disney, like Wonder cards, some baseball cards. Like, it's just so much fun. I love being able to get them. And like you said, they have something for everyone. Sometimes I do wish some of their higher end products, like this episode, I've said Stranger Things so many damn times, but I just love Stranger Things. Like, I wish they made like a set that is a little more like low end for Stranger Things. Like, that set that just came out was insane. A pack for $300. Like, I know you were guaranteed like an auto, and it is funny. Someone I saw on like a Reddit forum was kind of like, just think about buying a hobby box and these are the hits you get. You just don't get all the trash. But like, as someone who likes to collect for fun and then give some of the cards to my, son, like, I do like those base cards. So I kind of would like to see more base like sets for entertainment brands in the new year. Which, they really have shown that for Disney. With the Wonder, which was super cool. But it would be nice to see it more for Star Wars, not just the Chrome product, even though the Chrome is the best. But I'm also just really, excited to see what comes from that.
Like, I was gonna say that the Marvel, like those tend to always be the more high end, harder to get. Obviously,
which
you
I
can pull
get
big stuff, but they kind of keep it there. Obviously, the sports is where you get the biggest variety, where you can just get random regular base, and then they have lots of different sets that go from there. But yeah, they're doing a good thing though. They have a lot, and let's see if there's another VeeFriends top set coming. That'll be another
which
thing
hopefully that'll be easier to get. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
because you never know. But I just, all in all, I think we have a good year ahead of us in the collecting world. I think there's going to be more highs than lows. That's my prediction. More, especially from last year too.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see maybe another company, maybe something else new that we don't know about, that
would be cool.
Peeks its head out and becomes exciting, or maybe one of these other companies do something a little different. It'll be interesting to see where that goes as well, because I think some of them need to do some stuff different, some don't. But events and stuff, is another thing that I'm pretty excited for. Obviously, to see who will be at New York Comic Con this time, and hopefully we get to see more of the companies that we love, not just the same ones. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I think that'll be it. So that's kind of our little bit of a wrap up of 2025, now 2026. We're in the new year. Let us know what you guys think. What are you guys excited for? What was some of your favorites and things from last year, and what are you excited for this year? And any of the stuff that we spoke about, if you want to chime in on any of that, definitely feel free to comment on this video if you haven't already, and let us know. We'll comment back to you guys, and we will see what 2026 has in store for us. We'll keep it going, keep doing what we love, and we're gonna get back into the swing of things, and get some people on here, some guests, and some different things. If you guys want anything else, let us know, and we'll keep doing little shorts and things on the side. We like to kind of we do that more like to be fun and funny, and like get into and so what's hot and popular right now, and
what sparks our interest.
What our reactions are to that usually is how we make those memes and stuff. So we'll continue to do that. But yeah, Charlie will let you know all the goods on on following us and everything. If you haven't already, where to? And yeah,
Yeah.
let's have a good year.
As always, you can find us at Collector Chatter and at Collector_Migs and at Collector_Charlie on Instagram. And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, thank you very much. If you're on Spotify, please make sure you answer our polls and you follow us on there. Leave us a review. You can do that on all the podcast platforms. We would really appreciate that. Then obviously head over to YouTube where you see our pretty faces and you get all the special images of everything we talk about. And as always, if you haven't already, if you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, let us know, what you loved about 2025, what you're looking forward to in 2026. Also, let us know if there's anything you would like us to add into the new year on this podcast. Part of me is thinking, maybe we could elaborate on some other things. Obviously, we're a collector podcast, but if we wanted to talk about we've dabbled in this in the past. Maybe we can talk a little bit about more entertainment stuff with the collectible stuff. But let us know if that's something you'd be interested in. Even if some of our takes on sports, can kind of be add a little more variety. But if you guys don't want that, let us know. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us all this time. This is the year we get to 1,000 subscribers. So get us there. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know new videos come out. And as always, collecting is the way. Happy New Year. Until the next episode, later.
Happy New Year, guys.